Okay, folks, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and some places even good night, if I can say so. So this is Paresh Motiwala for the DBA Virtual User Group. I'm so glad you guys can make it. Actually, I'm so glad I could make it because literally my home is all completely gone now because of the lack of electricity. The vegetables have rotted and everything. It's pretty bad in 4 days. And the temperature here is approximately 40 degrees Celsius, about 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 102 actually. So yeah, it's fun. But we enjoy doing what we do, that is to support the DBA virtual user group. So these are the ways you can actually reach out to us, right? If you have not already done this, please go to the meetup, sign up, LinkedIn, the group's name is there. We will also be uploading the recording to the YouTube channel. So that is the most popular questions that we get is, oh, will this recording and the slides be available? Yes, they will be available, but it will take us a couple of days, given that I don't have internet at home. Okay, so
I think you got muted.
that's dumb. Okay, I have no idea how that happened. So again, if you like to speak or have a suggestion or a feedback, or you can't access the shares where we keep the PowerPoint, this is a good email to send it to us. We monitor it almost on a daily basis between the four of us. That is me, Tayob, Surbi, and Julie. Um, and be patient with the responses. Okay, that's all I can say. We will get to you soon. Okay. This is also being recorded, as I said, but it's available on YouTube in, I would guess, before the weekend. When do we meet? Second Wednesday noon Eastern time and fourth Wednesday of the month at the Pacific lunchtime, just so that we have covered the entire continent. So the recordings are available here. If you like to go ahead and use your cell phone to scan this QR code, you'll live happily ever after. But if you go and on YouTube and look for DBA-VUG, you should be able to do that as well. Okay, so what's coming up next for us? So the future sessions within the next 2 weeks, you will see Gianluca Sartori. She will be talking about using workloads to modernize your SQL Server instances. And again, this is all published in the PowerPoint that will be uploaded for you. Um, do feel free to chip in anytime, and I hope you can have some seriously free learning. PASS Summit is coming along on November 4th through 8th in Seattle. Uh, go there a couple of days early, go visit the Mount Rainier, the Snoqualmie waterfalls, and a lot of mountains there. Good time to be there. Um, Again, this is what we have because this is with the blessings of Microsoft and PASS that we can bring this whole thing to you. Okay, so PASS is, if you think you learned something from this 1 hour session today by Kay, oh, wait till you go to PASS. It is like drinking from a fire hose. Like, seriously, there's so much learning to do. Again, if you use this code, you can get $150 off. Okay, I think today or tomorrow is the last day for this, if I'm not mistaken. So save $150 and enjoy the learning. I hope to see you there as well. And these are the events that are not part of the DBA virtual user group. These include the SQL Saturdays, the Data Saturdays, the Future Data Driven Summit, which is the largest virtual summit of data people anywhere. Last year we had, I believe, about 4,000 people who joined. Again, the flagship event, of course, being the past data community. Cool. Okay, Kay, I picked up your picture from Google somewhere, and I hope it does justice to you. Where's your
It's a
hat,
nice
though? I
one.
missed that. Yeah, okay, cool. So yeah, I like a lot of hats actually, and I wear a lot of hats too. So, and yeah, today's event is going to be deep dive into the ARM structure with PowerShell. It's a very focused, very intense topic, and I hope you guys can turn off your cell phones and listen to him absolutely keenly and with all attention you can. So without much ado, I will stop sharing Here it is. And you can take it over, sir.
I'll start sharing this in a second.
And Kay has suggested that he will be going between slide and demo. At that time is a good time for you to ask questions. Okay,
I will
thank
bring
you.
it out as well, no problems.
Sure.
So thank you very much for having me. It was a very I look really forward to this session. Actually, it's not so often that I can present this because I think it's a session that is a niche, but also pretty deep. But I'm going to show you. So, firstly, maybe short words about me. I'm a BI developer. I blog on kayondata.com. I'm a data teacher, founder, and leader. This is also a user group here in Switzerland. I'm from Switzerland in Zurich. This is an online group as well, so everyone worldwide can attend it. It's every third Friday on a month, and it happens usually 5 o'clock in the evening in Swiss time, so Central Europe. Summertime at the moment. In winter is also 5 o'clock in the evening, so it's something that we can celebrate and have teacher TGIF together, basically. I also founded the DBA Live is basically also an online conference that's actually geared toward Europe, but everyone is of course welcome to it. That's also I'm the co-organizer of another conference that is in Switzerland. It's a in-person um, conference here in Zurich, Switzerland this year, and I'm also one of the organizers of the DI virtual groups platform. So, just if you have maybe difficulties to read something like this for some reason, you can actually zoom in Microsoft Teams, either if you use control or mouse wheel, or in the bottom left there are plus and minus, which you can zoom in. If you want to move around, then you just can use your mouse and drag it around. If you need live captions like I do, actually, because I'm deaf, then you actually have the possibility to use live captioning in Microsoft Teams. You have to just point here, basically the three dots here in the upper corner. Then you go down to language on the options, and you have a CC for closed captions. I'm using this right now, so you're not affected for it. It's only for people who really want to have it. So it's not everyone sees it. It's only you will see it if you want to use this. So here, as an agenda, at first I want to explain a bit why are we using PowerShell actually for Azure. It might be a bit strange for you if you are used to other stuff like um, Terraform or others. I'll get to this, then I will explain some rough structure to it, so you will have an idea how what actually the structure in Azure looks like, the topology of it, and then we will go to the code. Really, I will show you the code live. So why do we want to have automated deployments in the first place? Well, it's infrastructure as a code. That means you can deploy again and again, basically. So what we have here is with this possibility is with the code. I'm not going to show actually. I'm just going to show what the objects are living inside of of uh, PowerShell in Azure. I think someone has a microphone on. Just hear something. Okay, everyone's good. Um, so we have the same setup easily. You have a usability. You can actually delete something if you need. You can use it for testing. You can use it also for showcasing if you want to have it for VMs. It's also a possibility to have a showcasing to other people, so they can just test it, and you can wipe the VM again, for example. So the question also backs, like I said before, we have other possibilities. Basically, it's one of the reasons I like PowerShell is it's a native tool provided by Microsoft. And PowerShell, many DBAs actually, the database administrators already use PowerShell to administer the SQL Server, for example, to do backups, to do indexes, or whatever what you want. You can actually use PowerShell for it with DBA tools. If you don't know it is, DBA is the link to it. If you don't know it is, that is actually a very great tool for that. Of course, we also have other alternatives to PowerShell, for example, ARM, Azure Resource Manager by Microsoft. I come to it in the next slide again. Um, we have Bicep by Microsoft as well, which is also another language. Terraform by HashiCorp. This is a really very powerful language. This is actually cross-platform, meaning that you can deploy stuff across different clouds like Google Cloud, like AWS and other clouds. Terraform actually can do that. With Biceps you can't because it's really you will be sticking to Microsoft. Um, it's very similar is also Ansible. This is it's just another company, Red Hat, that actually also has a tool like this. And essentially, those are like Bicep as well, by the way, and Transpiler. So basically, they explain to your cloud something that in their language what they should do. So this has, for example, for Terraform, the advantage that they have a strength with the state files, how's it called? So you can actually use this. But however, if you are a DBA and you are not someone really is in the infrastructure services, like me, I'm also not in Azure Infra, so I'm actually just a DBA. So PowerShell is a solution that may be close to you because you may already know PowerShell, and this is why I actually promote this. In this session, I'm going to show you what you can see with PowerShell, what you can learn with PowerShell, what kind of structure is actually behind, and the structure you can see basically is also basically what you can see with um, you are not able to see in slides now. Is anyone having this issue? Someone ask, does anyone see the slide, please? Can anyone tell me? Okay. So, Amy, you
You
probably
what?
need to
Yeah, we can see the
restart.
slide. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, you probably have to restart Teams. I would say I will wait a second for you, so you can join in a second. Yeah, like I said, this is PowerShell. You have the possibility to really see everything basically that is underneath. So what ARM, because ARM, the Azure Resource Manager, is if you will, the master of everything because everything is really built around this. So from Microsoft side, that means actually most probably Terraform and Ansible and others have to access actually this structure as well logically because they have to address the same structure that ARM is probably going to have. I actually not very familiar with Terraform, also not with Ansible, so I can't tell here too much about this. But it's probably most probably this way that it also means that they have to access ARM also to use the structure in a way. So, in other words, you can use PowerShell, but it's more ideal for smaller use cases. So if you have like a huge corporate company, of course, then you might have also a team that is really concerned about the infrastructure teams. Then probably you won't have to deal with this basically. But if you are a smaller company with only like 20 people, then PowerShell might be still a good solution for you. So it's or if you of course still are in a corporate environment, but you actually want to really know what's underneath, but you are using, let's say, Bicep or ARM or Terraform or whatever, this session is also something for you. So next, I have to put the slide forward. So again, why not ARM? I promised you I will tell you more about ARM. ARM looks like this. Basically, it's a JSON file that you can see, and it's gets very quickly computed. It's not easy to read for humans. It's very well designed for machines, but not for humans. If you read this, then you have a long time to really understand what kind of objects you will have, what kind of structure you have. So PowerShell here again gives you an easy idea for this. So what do we see again? We will see basically. Open this link quickly. Just give me a second so I can share this quickly. It's what we see as a graphical user interface that Microsoft gives you on a website is essentially this. Let me reshare the screen so you can see it. So this is basically what we are going to see in a way. You will see actually all sites what we have. So we are also going to do this in yeah, as you already see, it's kind of hard to navigate. You can explore the globe. You can see what is everything is here. You can see what places we have. For example, we can actually do this in PowerShell and more. So let me go back to the presentation. Yeah, it's too many windows at the moment. So now I can present again. Takes a second. Still, I guess. Please let me know if you see the presentation, then we can proceed.
Not yet.
We still
Okay,
see the
great.
slide deck.
Great.
Okay. I can't, so
So,
that's okay. Go ahead.
so roughly, generally, what you can see underneath of Azure is basically this kind of um, schema. We have here a geography group, then we have a logical region type, and country location, and resource group, and even deeper than this. For example, VMs and SQL Server. Whatever. You will see this also in the demo. I'm getting to that shortly. I think that's the last slide before we go to the next one. This is just about what kind of VMs we can pick. So what I want to lose some words about this, so you have an idea when we get to this point before we go to the demo. So I don't have to change to the PowerPoint presentation anymore, but just stick on the demo. It's basically what we have is an entry level, for example, which are the cheapest ones, the most expensive ones. I could see yesterday if you have a pay as you go tier, a payment tier, basically, you want to use these. Be aware that if you pay as you go and use this, it will cost in the United States at the moment, I think around 60,000 US dollars per month. So 60,000 per month. So it's you have to also be a bit careful what you are going to pick. So in general, for most use cases for database solution, perhaps something like this is pretty well designed. Or if you have a smaller database, then general purpose is also very well designed. So it's something you have to also take care with. We will not see the cost in PowerShell, but I'm just pointing this out so that you know those are possibilities if you want to use them. So at this point, maybe do you have any questions so far?
Nothing yet.
Great. That then let me change to the demo in my browser. We are going to use the Azure CLI PowerShell directly in Azure, essentially. Here we go. Is everyone able to see this?
Yes.
Great. So this gives us some space here. I'm starting my Visual Studio Code. Um, so at first, if you want to know what locations we actually have worldwide, then you can do this. What this gives basically is a JSON file, as a JSON view of everything actually. So this is basically pretty much something that is a bit ugly to read. So that's why I suggest to do it a bit more easy to read. Um, I'll do that again and put in the next thing. What we have here is basically get location, select object, just the geographic group, and then the sort object for it for a geographic group and only the unique ones. So what we see here is the geographic groups that I was talking about before. We see here Africa, Pacific, Canada, Europe, Mexico, Middle East, South America and United States. So those are really the top tiers of everything we actually can see um, within the PowerShell so area groups. So what we can do next is to go a bit deeper. Say we have a location here, and we want to have only the logical objects here. What we see here is a bit more the granular view of what we see is Asia, Asia Pacific, and so on. We have, for example, Germany, we have Switzerland, where I'm from, we have the United States, of course. We will focus later on the United States because you are from the United States, mostly, probably. So we also have the global view. That's actually something that we saw before. So we have most of the times it's on the country's level, but not always. We have, for example, Europe as well, which are several countries. For example, we have Europe West and Europe North. Uh, Within Europe West, for example, means it's in Netherlands, in Amsterdam, and Europe North is in Ireland. So next, let's see all locations in a table. And this is done if you say, I want to select the display name, the location of it. the geographic group, the region type, and physical location. So now we are going deeper, not at the logical groups with the logical or not really physical, but it's more like the groups basically. So we want to know the physical locations of each center basically what we have. So what we can do here is really to go deep and see all locations we have. What we see is the logical gains. What we have also, for example, for Brazil, Southeast, Rio de Janeiro, for example, or we have Frankfurt. We have also for United States, we have Wyoming, we have Washington. So what we see here is it's a bit kind of weird a bit because we don't really we have the sort object on the display name, so it's just alphabetical here. So it's not really making any sense of how this is really like. So that is why we get to the next code. What we see here actually, yeah. Let's get just a view of all places in the United States first. So this is going to be most interesting for you, I would say. So we will see here what kind of locations we have in the United States. Then we see we have central US, we have uh, something like um, EUAP, which means basically that's the early updates access program, which means those locations get the earlier access to updates, which are basically something like kind of a user acceptance test. I believe I'm not really sure what it really means, but we also will see later is actually not so important as in terms of having services. So if you want to see how many services really are there, then we will see later. But we see that actually they have not so many services. So in total, what we also can do actually with the first calculation, what I want to do is so get locations. How many locations do we have really worldwide? I think that's worldwide. So we have 74 locations, and those are of course including the logical ones. So we also can do some calculations, and this is exactly what I want to do next. Basically, if you want to see also in United States, if we can actually also get this. So what I just realized I forgot to tell about the per region here. We have the per region here. Um, so we have East US, for example, for Central US and West US. So if you have some service that you want to have a pair to another region, for example, for uh, special how's it called high IoT, you can use this. So that's actually something that Microsoft also can highlight that. So what we have here with the geography group is in US. This is, if you remember again, we have a geography group before, and we have United States here. So we have basically this just another filter possibility we can use and count. Then again, we have 11 locations basically in the United States. In Switzerland, for example, it will be only two, and that is pretty easy to count. But if you have a larger regions, maybe also for example, for Asia, this can also be helpful. So the next thing what I wanted to show is um, yeah, exactly. Let's see the count of all locations for all services. So if you are a solution designer, a solution architect, you might be interested in the question, which location should I actually deploy my services? because if you want to have, and I pointed out before Europe, we have only like 144 services. Here we have also here with this is maybe not the ideal thing if you really want to do this. It's more something that you want to do is the recommended ones probably. And you see here actually, for example, East US has I think the most services actually in United States. So what you can actually do is deploy your services here, and we can actually also, for example, say see which locations actually do provide fabric. For example, if you really want to have a filter for it, that's actually something that it's not so easy to do on a website by Microsoft. Then you really can also do in PowerShell search and check which locations actually have something like Microsoft.fabric here that it contains, and check if they have this. Now, I think all but the all places have this. The exceptions are the early access program locations, they don't have it. But all others, they do have this basically. You have basically the possibility to access Microsoft Fabric. So what we also can check is, for example, the opposite. Of course, you can also see which um, locations do not offer it. If you really want to have the explicitly shown, then you actually can see also the other um, the other version of it with not contains. And we see here exactly what I said before. We have those locations. If you are a solution architect and even have to consider this question on a global scale, of course, you also could do this with Fabric, and you will see that also there are also some other places, a few places that do not have this, basically. Here you also have to take care of physical locations, of course, and you have to have, again, not contains Microsoft Fabric. Again, with the display name, of course, we could also have other information for each locations in terms of physical locations of it. If you select it, in this case, I only have the display name. Is
Okay,
everything
there is a
clear so far?
question.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask if any questions are here. This was pretty fast now, so I'm going to have a
Yeah.
short break if to check on questions.
So Amy, our friend, is asking, what does it mean when there is no physical location?
No physical location. If you have no physical location, let's go back here. We see here. Maybe I might make it a bit bigger if you don't see it clearly. So 25. So we see here we have logical ones and physical, right? Logical basically are just grouping mechanisms. It's a grouping for Asia, also for Europe. For we have some locations. So, for example, here you see the list very clearly. We have, for example, for Europe. We have basically just a grouping of it. So it's actually some kind of a hierarchy you have. So it's a hierarchy of locations. So each location is basically within, for example, Europe or United States, because we have ultimately several locations within United States. Ultimately, what it means, you can actually, as we can see here as well, for example, we have a geographic group equal United States, for example. So you actually can see the locations, the groupings within those. Is this clear now? Yeah, the URP are special locations.
Yeah.
I think that's something very special. Okay, I think it's clear now. Good. Any other questions? Someone holds up their hand. Can you please chat in, use the chat maybe?
I am looking, I don't see anything. So, okay, Amy raised her hand. Amy,
Oh,
can you
okay.
lower the hand, please? Thank you.
Okay, then I'll continue.
Yeah.
So, we also are able, of course, to check what kind of services are being provided in each location. So what we can do is basically we can just do check what kind of uh, get a list what that kind of um, services does the East US actually provide. And if you do this, then we get this. We have basically all the list. I think we saw before it's like 200 services, and all services we can see, for example, Fabric here. So just saw before. Also Key Vault, for example, Fabric, exactly, Dev Test Lab. We have storage, network, data factory, Synapse. We really can browse everything and see what it actually is available. So that's a pretty easy method to do this. So I'm just checking if I skipped one code by accident or not. Um, I think we have showed everything. Yeah, that's so. What we can do next actually is to see what what kind of VMs we could use. Now, we go now a bit deeper. As I told you, we also can go a bit deeper and also browse actually objects within, for example, East US. I will stick to this example now. But I actually want to know if you have VMs that have, for example, at least 16 cores and up to 32 cores and have a RAM of at least 64 gigabyte RAMs and a top 120 gigabyte of RAM. So you also can actually do this and get a list of it. We can see what kind of names we have here. We can get types, and here is that's why I showed you this slide before. You see basically um, what kind of types of tiers we have here. So we have a standard T116A, for example. We have, for example, um, P16 is also pretty common, I think. Also, the T4, T2, something like this. So we have all the possibilities within those specifications. Um, we of course could do also the search a bit smaller. We could do it bigger, but we do not see here at this point. That's what I told you before. Other prices. So this is still something you have to look up for. But here, as a solution architect, you actually really can see what kind of possibilities those kind of views you have, and you can pick a bit easier, maybe. And of course, with, for example, those tricks, like I said, as I told you before, you also can, for example, do not contains. You also can see what kind of regions do not have this, if you might want to have this, or you also can, of course, you could also do a self-select if you want to get all the locations that have these specifications of this, so you actually have a bit easier time to get the locations you want the VMs to play to. So what you also can do, of course, is just to count. If you want to have a bit more abstract, for example, you can have to the same thing, the same code again, just with brackets here and the count and again, and then you have get basically the number. It's here. It's a lucky number 42. Of course, it's a good number to remember. And here, if you want to have a comparison to it with another location, like let's say the East US2, for example, we will see we have just one which is not so significant, but in other places it might be different. So what we also can do at this point actually is to get the offers for East US, for example, too. So we want to, for example, to see what kind of possibilities we have in terms of um, SQL Server editions, and of course also the Windows Server. For example, we have the publisher name Microsoft SQL Server, for example. But what this actually means is that we have SQL Server 2008. And we have Windows Server 2008 that goes actually to also to Red Hat 8 with SQL Server 22, for example. We have the possibility to pick SQL Server 22 on a Windows Server 22, for example. So also this gives you very nice possibilities to browse your space, what is really underneath. Of course, you also could to select again with the where object and look for US specifications. And of course, you also could leap over different locations again, like I showed you before. And here we also see, by the way, bring your own license. So you have the possibility here, for example, to bring your own license. This is also something we see here. We have also, I think, Ubuntu. We have also I think we have somewhere also, yes, exactly. That's another Linux distribution. It doesn't cross my mind what its name is. SUSE distribution is this, for example. So we have many possibilities here as well. What we also can do is, for example, we want to get to know what kind of possibilities we have just for one specific thing. Then we can do this with offer. We want to have the offer. This has SQL Server 19 with Windows Server 2019, 2022. We also see here what kind of editions we have. So we can actually have Enterprise Edition. We have Enterprise Edition Gen 2. We have also SQL Server Developer Edition. We can pick. We can have standard Gen 2. We have Gen 2. So actually, Gen 2 I think is not available everywhere, but it's actually something that is more or less only here available. Maybe other locations, but here what we can see is that I think if you do it again like this and check for East US 2, for example, I think those are not all available. Yes, it is all most. I think yesterday it wasn't. Maybe it was just deployed now, but or I oversee something now. This is not. That's what you actually also could do is basically, of course, to check again, like I showed you before, with not contains that we have something that is not within, so we also can find it. Um, did I miss something now? I think I missed something. Let me check. Oh, here, yes. We have I think now the difference now. This code is I didn't realize this first. So this is another code. Oh, I didn't copy. I have to copy first. try. Exactly. So what we have here is the same thing. That's what I actually wanted to show before. Is we have a SQL Server 2022, and here we see actually here we only have Enterprise Gen 2, so not everything basically. This is actually what I wanted to show. So it's this is. If you do the same again with East US 2, I'm not sure if you have everything here. See, you can check. Yeah, here we also have this again exactly. So it's so we actually also really can check and see what's inside. So in other words, what we browse this everything actually we for VMs, and those VMs that we saw here we are able to deploy with PowerShell as well. So it's this is just um, to explain actually how you browse this, but there are also possibilities to deploy this. And Microsoft actually has also a website that explains how to deploy this. Unfortunately, it used to be for some months now not working. I didn't check yesterday if this code that it was presented on Microsoft's website with PowerShell, if it's now working again. But this used to work. So I also have on my blog actually uh, I explained there how to deploy this, but like I said, this used not to work anymore for some reason. I think the reason was that Microsoft changed something in the model of some models of objects for the deployment. So I have to check on this. If you want me to, actually can leave a message later and check in the next few days if this is working again or not. So I think this means we still have some time for some questions. This is actually all I have.
Okay, no, we don't have, and it's not terribly early. So I think it's about 10 minutes to go. We can have social chit chat. People who would like to come speak um,
Sure.
at our event. This is a good time. But we have no more questions, and I can actually turn off the recording and then we can party. Okay, so
Yes.
here you go. Wally has a question.
Oh yes, someone asked me, can you please explain how you are doing the multi-lines in the PS scripts? Yes, I can do that. In PowerShell, you have to use the backticks like you see here everywhere, and those backticks allow you to have multi-lines. It's a trick I used to hear, so it's a bit easier to read. Uh, Otherwise, you can actually use really long lines in one line. This is also the possibility, but it makes it looks a bit scrambled, and I wanted you to see and read the code a bit better. Any other questions? You're muted.
Our friend Dipti has also joined. So hi, Dipti. Okay, so I think there's no real questions. Let me stop the recording right now.
Yes, sure.
Can you give us the query to get the list of all VMs with memory and CPU allocated?
The query to get the list of all